I'm gonna let Ben tell me how to say it, but on the bottom left in the blue for Twisted Minds, it's YoungYakov.
Yeah, I actually have no idea about this one. Like, when I first saw it, I thought it was AqueroN, but spawning over in the top right, as I read Terran, it is AqueroN. For Platinum Heroes, yeah?
Yeah.
I have none of the little symbols on my screen, so I'm just going off knowledge, and it's kind of cool that Twisted Minds have quite a presence now in StarCraft 2. Like, Classic obviously did super damn well at the Gamers 8 tournament, managed to get a very surprising top 8 and get them into the running of extra prize money. I think maybe that club either came first or second overall, so sick for them in StarCraft 2, and it just made them go, hey, we're investing more in StarCraft 2 as a result.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing that more as well. Cloud9 just picked up Gumiho. I heard rumors, and I can't just verify this any way, shape, or form, but apparently there were other big orgs that were looking to pick up the likes of Serral or Rain or these other top players that were not on a multi-esports organization to try to pick them up for Gamers 8 last year so they could kind of get in on that prize money. So, hey, if more big orgs get into the scene, I'm really not going to complain, Ben. That's pretty awesome. That makes me very happy.
I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Like, a thing like that, with so much money on the line, like, just to put Team Liquid, like, just to mention what happened with them, they had the Dota team finish second place. Then they had Clem finish top 4 in StarCraft 2. And that netted Team Liquid, I think it was like $300,000. And without having Clem be a part of that, you know, that wouldn't have been a thing. So it absolutely has opened up the possibility for more teams getting involved in StarCraft 2, because Cloud9 getting involved 13 years after StarCraft 2's inception, very funny, but also just shows the relevance of a big tournament like that. But we get underway here. So far, the openings from both these players, very standard. AqueroN with a Reaper opening, CC on the low ground, going for a double gas behind things, so no 3CC just yet. And YoungYakov taking the linear approach to his base setup.
And, you know, actually, okay, so a couple things I want to talk about, Ben. You talk about this being a standard setup, and I would almost argue that given how popular, just how insanely popular the double barracks opener has been, I would almost argue that this maybe isn't the standard anymore. But I guess it's one of those things that the top Terran players are doing it, and maybe AqueroN isn't doing it yet. But the other thing that I think is really interesting is you look at this setup, and it might have been because of the Reaper, but you want to take this base as the Zerg pretty quickly, because it's so hard for the Terran to push. You have this high ground on the right, on the left side, you have this high ground in the middle. Terran is by default attacking into a concave. Meanwhile, at the linear side, it's a much easier push from them. So whatever you can do to establish this position on the right side, kind of, I guess maybe more is your fourth, because that's where the Terran's going to push. It's just such a nice defensive position that, well, we're going to have to see if YoungYakov can take advantage of, but it is one of these reasons why the map has been going to... We've been seeing some long games.
Oh, absolutely. And I won't question what YoungYakov does. If he feels this is the best, you know, he's a better Zerg than I'll ever be currently. But we do see that AqueroN has started going for a fusion core. Now, that is pretty early. And so far with his Banshee, or rather with his Starport, he was faking a Banshee just because that Zergling was running up the ramp. But we know he's not going for anything like that at all. And most likely, given that he hasn't started a Liberator yet, this will be a Battlecruiser build. And YoungYakov's incredibly solid. I think he's been rocking like 6.2, 6.3k on Europe right now, maybe even higher. I played against him a game or two and he absolutely destroyed me. So yeah, YoungYakov's definitely been playing solid. So AqueroN's bringing out the good old cheesy stuff here.
Yeah, that he is. And I'm holding out hope, even as the Battlecruiser's on the way, that this is some weird Liberator range play. It's not going to happen. But Battlecruisers are something that we've start to see enter the meta a little bit more. Gumiho, I think, did a build in the GSL against Solar that I haven't seen those games yet, but I heard people talking about it. And in general, I feel like Battlecruisers in any meta are strongest when they're not necessarily the biggest meta play. Because if you see them every game, you're really going to be used to defending against it. But when you see it every 10 or something, maybe 15, every 20, well, maybe it gets a little more damage.
Yeah, like out of sight, out of mind, right? If you go with that logic. He is making a lot of Hellions here. Like, this is far more than normal. So far, he's just shown these 8, but number 9 and 10 coming across the map as well, and that will force out a lot of queens, which in my head, very often it can be like, oh, why make an Oracle into DTs if you're already kind of forcing the counter to them? But still, 10 Hellions turning up, along with a BC that's capable of teleporting on this. YoungYakov is going to have a mighty surprise coming his way very shortly.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to lie here as well as the battlecruiser. I think I heard it click somewhere. There it is in the main base. I'm not going to lie here. I'm a bit seeing how overbuilt the Hellions have been. I'm somewhat surprised we're not seeing an armory on top of it just so you can do exactly what you're talking about. But battlecruiser in the main base, and AqueroN's not protecting this. This is a battlecruiser that should just go down here. Hellions on the left side, they're going to be rebuffed as well. So it's a dead battle. That is not what AqueroN wanted. Dead battlecruiser this early on, but not getting that much damage is just not worth it.
Not at all. He didn't micro that bad boy at all. And honestly, YoungYakov's defense so far against all of this, not bad, is it? Like, he's also now getting a full scout off, seeing what's going on. He even saw this starport making something again with a tech lab. So I don't think he's going to take that lightly. He's even going already into his Hydralisk Den, getting the Baneling speed on the go. All he has to do is hold off these Hellions, which, look at that, he's getting a big wraparound here. This could be very bad for the young Terran.
Yeah, that is he thought he could run away maybe, but there was no hole in that wall. Now YoungYakov, after he's made the trap happen, now there's the drone on the bottom side. Now it seems like he might try to take his 5th base in that 6 o'clock position, but not early enough, not yet. And behind this AqueroN, he's not going back. He's not doing anything like that. This is pure bio, so it's one less battlecruiser. Of course, Hydra's not the best against battlecruisers, but one less battlecruiser, and these Hydras on the way, it's going to be a problem. Now, this drone, I thought it was going to do something, but instead, I guess it's just been hiding with the army. So, never
the
mind.
drone thinks it's one of the boys, and oh my goodness, those are the best Baneling connections that you could hope for. Like, honestly, this is a this is such a horrible situation. YoungYakov's ready for the battlecruiser in the main base as well. Banelings bust through the front door. AqueroN's trying to make good out of a terrible, terrible situation, and over before you know it.
That was... I talked about how I think I liked AqueroN going into this game. That was not close. You should not lose a battlecruiser like that. The Hellion trap, give it to Yakov. That was beautiful. That was a bit of a mistake, obviously, from AqueroN, but you know, not crazy that you kind of dive in and you maybe think you're going to be safe. Really nice surround. But then everything that happened right there, it's just YoungYakov felt like he woke up properly and is properly warm, and it just didn't feel like AqueroN was there yet. So who knows? Maybe game 2.
No, I mean, that was definitely brutal, wasn't it? Like, YoungYakov just... It's kind of scary having 10 Hellions knocking about and a BC knocking about, but he dealt with it all. He lost like 5 drones, and he just did everything well. And one thing I remember when I used to play against AqueroN, he is cheeky, and I really felt that he was the European Vindictor in a lot of ways. Kind of did things his own way, but also could kind of get caught off, you know, if it didn't work out. And YoungYakov, the way that he's building up his Zerg play, he can be aggressive. Like, he can absolutely do these counter Baneling busts and stuff, but overall soliding it up. Like, he's growing in that sort of... If he's got like if you imagine like graphs for how well he plays, like a bar graph, it's like, oh, I'm weak on this front. Okay, I'm going to make that get more in line with everything else, build it up across, just rounding out. So he's actually quite a scary Zerg to go up against.
Well, certainly he's up 1-0 in this game. And now we move on to Solaris. It's game 2.
Spawning over in the top right, currently 1-0 up. It is the Zerg. It is YoungYakov.
And of course, his opponent in the bottom left in the red, down a game, battlecruisers really not working out. His name is AqueroN.
Going to be interesting to see what he whips out this game. You talked about what is the standard for Terran these days, and he's doing the other build you talked about that is very, very popular. 2 barracks at the front, getting out those Reapers nice and early. It's something that some Terrans absolutely swear by, and, you know, very, very good Terrans at that, like the Marus, the Cure, the Then you get Terrans like Clem, that is kind of regarded as one of the best in this matchup, that barely ever touch the build. So it's interesting, but what it really allows you to do is get across the map, make sure you're not going to lose against anything early on, and just play your game rather than the Zerg getting to dictate the pace early on.
Yeah, and that is nice. And you talk about Clem. I mean, You know, no disrespect to your teammate, but Clem is one of those players that you can look at and say, okay, he's going to do 3cc Hellion Banshee into an 8 racks or into that kind of mid-game pressure. He just has that style that he loves to play, and he's going to play it all the time. And it's one of those, it's almost innovation-esque if you think about it, right? Where you know what he's going to do most of the time, and it's still going to be damn hard to stop. I mean, it really is that kind of that execution level, but AqueroN is not one of those players. YoungYakov is not one of those players. They do have some tricksy things, and talk about tricksy things. This is a quick spawning pool. This was pool before hatch coming out of Yakov, and this does mean that any sort of Reaper pressure, well, first of all, speed's going to be a lot faster, and second of all, well, maybe the Lynx can get onto the other side, but I was going to say, maybe you can set up a surround. That being said, given that the fact that Lynx are running across, this isn't going to get anything. There's already a full wall that no command center is going to get delayed.
Yeah, I'm almost unsure why YoungYakov's doing this one, because the game prior, I actually, maybe I didn't quite get to spot whether he went for an SP scout or not, but he went for what I deemed a regular build. So the fact that he's going up against this now is obviously not what he expected. And he's hidden his Lings, even though they were going kind of around the map here. And maybe he's going to hope to pick off number 2 or 3 Reaper over here. We'll at least get information, which is good. But AqueroN, to his credit, was very quick about spotting this out and just making sure, like, oh, you've gone for a pool first? Okay, what's actually happening behind this?
Yeah, certainly. And without, maybe you could do something on the speed zone, and certainly without a surround, these Lynx will never win the fight. In fact, they're just going to die. It's a scout, I guess. You know, that's something there for Yakov. He sees that, yes, there are 2 barracks in the wall, and there's a reactor going down, there's a tech lab going down. But Ben, is now the pool first didn't get much done, but we're sitting here. How much is YoungYakov going to be able to punish the fact that the add-ons are on the outside? Are any at all, or where do you think that goes?
Actually, I'm not entirely sure. He's making a few more Lings right now. He did pick off one of the Reapers. AqueroN actually made 4 instead of the more standard 3. And that's kind of brutal, actually, because having 4 around, this would be much scarier. Like, there would be so much more pressure on that 3rd hatch of YoungYakov. But I think YoungYakov, after he hopefully slams this down, the ideal situation for him is he gets on the other side of the map, deals with both those add-ons quite easily, and then stim is cancelled. And worst case scenario, you at least get a scout off. But I mean, that's cute with these Reapers getting on that little cliff over there. But how long are they going to be able to stay there is the question. Not long at all. Queen's on the high ground. Oh, really nice defense by YoungYakov.
I think that was a little nice spot they were able to wedge their way into. But yeah, now 4 Reapers are dead. Yakov, he has control of the map. And now the question, are you going to be able to delay stim? Lings, they're running across right now, but
then Cyclone.
It's not a ton of them. And there are a decent amount of Marines behind. Double Cyclone on the way behind it, as you said. The stim should still stay alive.
Oh, yeah. Like, it costs too much to deny that with that amount of Marines, but I'm a bit surprised he doesn't keep at least a single Ling over here. That being said, he does have that Overlord watching over everything at that natural, though if I saw a factory like that, I would want confirmation that, like, what is actually happening with that? Like, what is actually happening? But AqueroN actually gives it to him, says, hey, look, that's, here are my Cyclones, and that's what I was doing with that factory.
Yeah, and this is actually how Cure's been playing quite a bit. You go the, whatever your opening is, whether it's the Reaper opening or a more standard kind of 1-1-1, and then you build your 2 Cyclones very early on. You get the 2 of them, and then you move into Hellion play, and you have 2, 4, 6 Hellions. Well, actually, you're gonna lift the factory here, so slowing that production down for the cost of an Overlord, and it can be effective. Cyclones against Queens are really nice. Lings, or, you know, Hellions against Lings are really solid as well. But even delaying that by lifting the factory, I mean, it slows things down by a significant margin.
It certainly does. And is there okay, he does at least have a 3rd CC in his base, so not down and out macro-wise. It's just he's had a Zerg on the other side of this map just macroing. He has a 12 drone lead right now. He's also got 1-1. Well, at least the armor's more than halfway done, which is huge against Bio. And right now, this very guerrilla-esque army, it's a bit of a mixed match of a lot of things here. I'm not sure what it can get done against all of what YoungYakov has.
No, I mean, Banelings are done here. There's no speed because the layer is not complete, but you talked about it. Queen's on the high ground. They can plug a choke. It's really hard to run up with that one. Stim, of course, it is done, but no combat shields yet. And every time, it's only 1 medevac. So even that, yes, technically the Marines can get healed afterwards. It's only one at a time. So Yakov, look at this run by on the other side of the map here because he knows he's safe at home. And he gets into the natural. That's a problem.
That is a super problem. And AqueroN is still pumping out Hellions with this reacted factory, which, you know, they're meant to be good against Zerglings. They absolutely are. But these are going to be 1-1 Zerglings, and they're not meant to be over here right now. And AqueroN is getting caught with his pants down. Granted, I think he's done an okay job of mitigating the damage a little bit. But you're playing Bio, and this weird Bio with Hellions as well. I mean, I do like creativity, but we're looking at a Terran that's at 43 workers against 74 behind a whole set of upgrades. He needs to make a miracle happen. Like, there's a reason why players don't often play these kind of styles.
Yeah, and if you look at this, it's the Bio with active. This is a big push happening right here with the Hellbats as well. One queen will fall, and Baneling Speed's not done yet. So you do have... Yakov is going to have to buy some time here. Honestly, might even be worth just to give the pace up to buy that time. But now Baneling Speed's done. He's got 1-1 here, looking to roll right on top of things. And actually, the Banelings don't clear off enough. Not just yet. Now getting on top of the queens as they can. More Banelings rolling in, and that's a little bit better. So it's not the first wave that kills everything, but the second wave is doing a really nice job of cleaning things up, even as things are getting healed. And actually, AqueroN with this reinforcing line here. Ben, is this enough to punch through?
I would love to be hopeful, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, more Hellbats are joining the fray. I was kind of with you. I think YoungYakov should have just kind of said, hey, okay, let's maybe give up this base, because now it's starting to get spicy, but we can't misread this too hard. Like, he is super giga all in with this. Yes, he's making a lot of workers behind it and stuff, but oh my goodness, YoungYakov definitely getting caught off guard,
yeah,
which I didn't think he would be. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's making 5 queens at a time. Like, he's really struggling.
That is, and the queens, as they pop out, they go down, and of course, Baneling's not as tanky as they otherwise were, so targeting is actually going to work out really nicely. And again, we're looking at the situation, Ben. There are 5 Banelings on the field, 11 links. It really is all down to these queens, and Yakov keeps trying to defend this base. Give it up. It's not worth it as the Banelings continue to roll in. Finally, Yakov is, or finally, AqueroN's going to get forced back here. But I mean, look at resources lost. It's 2,400 in favor of AqueroN at this point in a game where it did not feel like he had any business making that happen. And by the way, 1-1 was done for the last part of that push. This was done with upgrade parity. Now, 2-2's done, but Yakov didn't need to do that.
No, he didn't. He made a real meal of that. And I was critical of the build just because, you know, I didn't feel it was going to work out for him. And okay, nice lift up on that depot. That could have really been trouble for him. But yeah, the fact that YoungYakov was so eager to just get rid of it, clean it up, maybe he thought it was a mockery as well of an army, but it managed to stick around for way longer than he hoped for. But now, YoungYakov, he still is on 4 bases, retaking that 3rd again, or that 4th, whatever it was. And now, he's the one that's going to start launching on the aggression. His creep spread's not bad, but AqueroN is not the kind of player that wants to be on the defense here, and that's exactly what he has to be for the time being.
Yeah, certainly, and especially as you take this rich gas base. Yakov hasn't saturated it just yet, but being able to mine 2 gas for the price of 1 is you want to build Hydras maybe, or Lings, and Banes, and maybe get up to Hive. Getting that gas count is really going to be nice. Although, as I say that, Yakov he's been playing so Ling heavy that he's actually kind of mineral starved more than he is gas starved, which is not the most common thing to see realistically when you're talking about Zerg players. Even still, big pressure here from AqueroN on the north side. He got this base once. Can he do it again?
He's actually ahead in workers, like, miraculously throughout all of this. I really feel that YoungYakov, with this big counter he's doing on the other side of the map, might be disrespecting what AqueroN's bringing. Although, getting into this, that is a juicy mineral line, and that is, oh my goodness, a lot of chaos going on. But AqueroN, he's having none of it. He's just lifting up into the main base, and there's a spore there ready for him. I think AqueroN is also getting a bit carried away.
Yeah, this is, he lost about a Medivac full units on the left side because, of course, he was dealing with the run by at the same time. Just that classic technique of hitting in 2 places at once and losing that other Medivac as well. I think it had an extra Hellbat or something into it. I mean, this is a solid spot to fight into, but the Queen's on top. Well, without 2-2, it's hard. And wait, did it? Okay.
Oh, no.
Did the orbital die?
I think it died, you know. I do. Yeah, it died. So
Yeah.
no lift there. AqueroN was too focused on other things, and 27 SCVs falling along with your CC. Yeah, he's in trouble. Now he has to be extreme, because now, income-wise, It's like 3,000 minerals per minute to 1,000. That is so bad. Like,
Yeah.
he's just got to go, go, go.
And really just never stop. How do you? The map is 50% creep. It's onto your side of the map here. It's crossing the middle side. Your army, only just now are you getting 2-2. Your army supply is not, this is not a TVZ where the Terran is up. Yeah, their economy's bad, but they're up significant army supply. It's a hard push that AqueroN's going to have to make here, but you're right, he has to do it regardless. This is a spot to fight into, though, with the Widow Mines on the choke, the speed zones to maybe help your splits a little bit better. But as he pushes through it, the map gets very wide open, and, well, Demu, you know, Zergs, wide open maps, they love that.
And YoungYakov, like, he's doing a lot of stuff that's really cool. Like, he's actually feeling comfortable enough to do a run by and deal a lot of damage again. Really cool move, putting a lot of multitask pressure on his opponent, just sprinkling a few Balings to clear up a lot of these Widow Mines. I actually like how YoungYakov's handling this. Like, it looks a bit scary, but AqueroN, again, he's just been playing so all in, and look at that. GG, well played. 60 army supply just melted.